Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Catherine Robertson. I am an author and an educator, and I am going to be walking you through today how I set up my notebook for creativity. I just generally use a lined notebook, and then some of the things that I like to have with me are lined sticky notes for writing because my writing tends to go uphill. I like two different colors generally is what I try and do. And then I have this nice little tab with all these sticky notes. I use the tabs at the bottom to tab out certain things. And then I use just generic pens. I like felt tip pens because they just write really well for me. Next up, I want to talk real quick about how I set up this notebook. I don't just use one notebook for an entire book. I generally segment it. Today, because I'm going to be working on two different projects over the course of this time, I'm actually going to split this journal into half so that I can use it for another project also, because I don't want to waste a journal. So I tend to find about page 150. I probably won't fill up all the pages in between, but this is just really to give myself good space. And what I'm just going to really do is I am just going to stick a little sticky note at the top here. And that way I'll know kind of where halfway is. And it's a really nice way just to split a journal too. Next, these are the sections that I'm going to make sure I have. I need a brain dump space. I need characters. I need the setting in the world. I need a calendar. I need my key points, and I need a timeline. And I'm actually going to add one more thing in here. One of the things that I want to have is like random scenes. And the reason for that is because as an author, sometimes you just find random things that make you think. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through this journal. This is after it's been set up. I'll show you the quick setup as we go along. So the first section that I'm going to go to is the working title, or potential titles. You may not have your title yet, but you may have some ideas for a title. Totally fine. These are what my brain dump pages look like. I usually put my title in the middle and then I do a fun little web going around the outside. This is just what works for my brain. That way I can literally put ideas wherever I want to. Sometimes I'll use sticky notes. Sometimes these sticky notes get crumpled up and thrown across the room or into the trash can, but they're always there. And it's always good. And I tend to leave myself like 2 pages, I want to say, for brain dump, just because I want to have it all out. Next up, and my tabbies at the side, is world building. Now, world building includes characters. So I have a name, a description, key characteristics, and things to remember. Now, what this means basically is that their description is what they look like. Key characteristics are things they like to do or important points that I need to know about them. And then, of course, like at the very, very bottom, I have my things to remember. So like, do they like knitting? That may be something that I need to remember. And I do several pages of characters, and sometimes they're very detailed and sometimes they're not, but I try to make sure I have enough. Next up is setting and world. So where does our story take place? Usually I put a little map in the middle. It doesn't have to be a good sketch. What are political systems that I need to remember? And what does my setting look like? Is it magical? What is happening? And again, I give myself plenty of space to write. And here we have our calendar. You can see I made a little oopsie at the top. Calendar is really important because you don't ever want to lose track of when something happened on which day, which can happen when you're writing longer stories. So my calendar is going to start on a Thursday this time, and mine usually goes about 5 days to a week for my entire story. But I write the key points. Sometimes I write them on little sticky notes because I want to make sure that they can be moved or thrown away again. And I like to keep track of them because it just makes it easier for my brain. Again, mine went 5 days, so more of the same. You can add more if you want. Then I have key points. I'm writing a mystery, so I keep my victims at the top. I make sure I list them out, their names, what happened to them. And then I have my suspect, their names, and why are they a suspect? That's very important in a mystery. And then, of course, I have my clues. And who do the clues rule out? Because your clues are going to rule out your suspects. Now, if you're writing a different type of story, maybe you're writing a romance novel, that will look different. Maybe you're like, these are their key moments in their relationship when you're writing a romance. Maybe you are doing a thriller and you're writing about the political things that are happening at the time. Whatever it is, key points page just kind of keeps you on track and helps you prep for your timeline. And speaking of timeline, here we are. This is my favorite section. I am a plotter, and so I love putting things on sticky notes. I love moving things around sticky notes. Generally, my sticky notes don't have like a full scene. I'm not that in depth of a plotter. I have like bullet points, and I like to put them over multiple pages. And sticky notes just look so fun, and I love them so much. And speaking of random scenes, I'm someone who has random thoughts and random scenes and random lines just like pop into my head willy-nilly throughout the day. And so this is really a space to honor that, to honor my inner pantser almost, where I can write scenes that just pop into my head, and they can fit into a story or not, but they're just kind of fun, and I love having a space for that. So that's my notebook. This is the quick timeline of me doing all that work. It's really fun. I like setting up notebooks. It keeps me a little bit organized while letting me have the space to be disorganized as well. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments down below. Please like and subscribe. This is my first time making a full-length video, so we'll see how it goes. Bye!